Hey Shawtys, this is Brittany
and Lauren,
and welcome to our podcast where you can have whatever you like. We said you can have whatever you like, yeah. Hey Shawtys, welcome to the Whatever You Like podcast presented by your hosts, Brittany and Lauren. Hey Shawtys, welcome back. Today our episode is going to be spooky vibes, Halloween.
Spooky vibes.
So it's titled My Boo, which is a pun, obviously, for today's topic, because we're going to be talking about Halloweenish stuff, but also scary dating stories.
Ooh.
Yeah. Before we get into today's topic, let's give a shout out to the song itself.
Let's party.
Let's party. There's always that one person that will always have your heart. You'll never see it coming 'cause you're blinded from the start. Know that you're that one for me. It's clear for everyone to see. My baby, oh. You will always be my boo. But I know about us, and it's the only way we know how to rock. I don't know about y'all, but I know about us. And it's the only way we know how to rock.
I just love how you know all the words exactly. I was like, fuck, I know the chorus. It was really cute because you were really into it. Yeah. And it was adorable. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know every single word. Like, I know the song.
Right. Well, that's actually a good segue, though, into the commentary for the song, because I was just going to say that I remember, because we were like young.
We were young.
We were probably, I mean, I don't know about you, but when this song came out, it was during my first love phase. So I feel like I was just always singing it to myself.
Yeah. What year did it come out?
Let's see. It was released in 2004.
Wow.
So that's kind of the age. I feel like we're in our preteens and starting to have crushes and things like that.
2004.
Well, for me, I was in 4th grade, I think.
That's crazy.
It is crazy.
I just didn't realize the song was that old. I mean, it makes sense.
But it was definitely, compared to last week's episode song,
Yeah.
I feel like this one was on the radio
100%.
all the time. So it was just still coming on the radio whenever we
Yeah.
were in that era.
Everyone listened to this song, though. Everyone always had it on. It's just such a slow song vibes, but it's such a sweet song.
I feel like it's also the duet of our age. It was like a big, I don't know, this was definitely the most popular, I feel like, that I can remember.
I agree. And it's one of those songs I feel like that stayed popular. Yeah, it might have came out in 2004, but I remember it being on school dances and stuff years later.
Because it's just such a kind of like a unique song. I didn't really think about that, but it kind of is.
Like, a lot of people, I think, know it still today. If you clicked play, they'd be like, oh yeah, I know that song.
I think it's also unique because the term My Boo, I didn't really know that term until the song came out, and I think it just sticks with you.
It does.
In your head.
It does.
So I actually was looking it up for the podcast where it came from, and it was just saying that according to Wikipedia or Google AI, that it started with the French word for beau, and then I guess it just is a slang, basically Americanized. Yeah, it's funny how language works.
They all come from different words, and they all form into other words, and it's kind of crazy.
But then the word boo for scaring people has a different origin. I looked it up, but it was like a double
cinnamon?
entendre.
Oh yeah, a double entendre.
Yeah, is that what it is? It's just funny.
That is funny because it's like boo. I've never thought of it having two different meanings.
And then there was a third meaning, but I'm blanking right now.
Growing up in school, did you call boyfriends like boos? Like your
No. I mean, maybe in a joking way occasionally.
Yeah. I was just curious. I don't know if anyone actually said my boo. You know what I mean?
It didn't feel natural. Yeah. Because I feel like I didn't hear the term until the song came out.
I don't hear the word boo used very much.
Although I do have my younger brother's name in my phone listed as Benny Boo, but not in a romantic way, just because, have you seen How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days? It came from that, I think, and it just was a way to make fun of him.
That's hilarious. See, boo can have all kinds of meanings.
Because he hated it. We'd just be like, Benny Boo.
But that's the fun part for the Halloween episode, is that it has multiple meanings.
I really wish I could remember that third meaning.
You can always look it up if you want. I never even thought to look it up. You're so smart.
I was just typing in what's the meaning, and you know how the Google thing just like automatically what came up. What's the meaning of 6'7"?
6'7", 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't know. I still don't understand.
Oh, the third meaning, when somebody like boos you at a football game or something.
Oh,
like in a negative way, like boo,
like the ref or player.
Does that mean this word is a triple entendre? Is that?
I wonder what's the most entendres a word can have?
I know.
That's a lot. Why is it giving me a thumbs up? I didn't even do anything.
Well, it should have given you a thumbs down because we were
know.
booing.
But yeah, it definitely has 3 meanings, the word boo.
And I think all 3 of them have a different origin.
What other ways do you guys use boo?
I just know if there's a fourth entendre.
Yeah. Did you listen to a lot of Usher growing up?
Yeah. I mean, I definitely listened to the ones that were the most popular. And I feel like I've never met an Usher song I didn't like.
Same. I've never met an Usher song I didn't.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know why. I just never went out and got an album necessarily. Yeah. But maybe because I was scared I wouldn't like a song by him. I feel like that happened sometimes when I would get some... Even, I'm not trying to hate, but like Beyonce, I got her first album and I just remember there were only maybe a couple songs that I was really into on that. But as I go back in time and listen to them, I like them more. I think it's just at the time I was more focused on the hits.
That's
as a
what
kid.
They say about albums, though, is that everyone can look at it differently. And that's why there's always a handful of songs that do so well and a handful of songs that don't do so well.
But I just remember the albums that I did listen to the most were the ones that there were certain artists that I did listen to every single song and I would listen to the whole album.
I feel like Usher was really popular when we were
He had a lot of good hits. That's like
a lot of good hits.
And he was featured in a lot of stuff.
He was featured in a lot of stuff. People really vibed with Usher, I think.
And actually with Alicia Keys, I feel like I only knew her in a certain amount of things, but then when I got older and started listening to her albums, I was like, wow, she has a really good discography, actually.
Interesting.
I really like her music a lot, so.
I feel like she wasn't as popular.
She didn't have as many hits.
Yeah, that's it. I have heard people like her music, though, a lot.
Like, how do I say this without it being rude to Usher? She's a better singer-songwriter. I think she's a really good artist, but they're both good. It's just, I think he has more of the hits, though.
He does have more
and
of
he
the
can
hits.
also dance.
He can dance.
So that helps.
They are both great. I was going to bring up something, but it's off topic.
Well, I mean, how off topic?
I was just going to say, I don't know if T-Pain's been taking up your TikTok feed, but...
So, no, but I have gotten some new stuff sent to me about T-Pain because I love T-Pain, but I've heard that he's kind of coming back.
Yeah, we have to go to one of his shows. It is such a vibe. He is having a blast up there on stage. It's like my life goal. We need to go to a T-Pain show.
I would love that.
I'm going to figure out where he's going. It's probably going to be on the fucking West Coast.
But we have to bring my friend Sydney with us because she is a huge T-Pain fan.
I'll bring any millennial that wants to come.
Yeah, anyone that wants to join the T-Pain train.
But I end up on T-Pain TikTok just talking about artists growing up and artists that were popular. And it's like watching grown up T-Pain up there and him vibing. It's like he's at a club on stage and he's doing all the hits and all these people are like, it's the best concert I've ever been to. We have to go because it's one of those concerts we might not ever get to see him again. You know, all the hits in our lifetime. And he's having a blast up there, but he can't do it forever.
One of these days he's going to break his leg, hip or something.
I feel like Usher doesn't really perform anymore.
Yeah. I don't know what he's doing. Yeah. I feel like as much as I love Usher's songs, T-Pain is just such a good vibe, though, for a concert.
Oh, 100%.
It would be so fun.
It's just one of those bucket list items.
He seems like the kind of guy who's always smiling.
He is. He is. Get that scheduled.
We'll put it on the list.
The list of the list.
But I mean, that was my main commentary. I just remember singing it in my car in the backseat of my own concert.
Such a good song.
Do you have any specific memories or was it kind of the same?
No, the same pretty much. It's just one of those songs that I think everyone knows and everyone did jam to in the car at some point or was on a school dance or whatever. Yeah. It's just a popular song.
Did you slow dance to the song?
Probably.
I feel like I did too. I just remember it being a slow dance song.
Yeah.
Well, that brings us to our game of favorite lyric, no context. My favorite lyric, it's kind of hard because we were talking about this earlier.
It's a simple song, but when you print the lyrics and read them, it's just, they're cute, but...
I think also at our age, I feel like it's hard to pick a favorite lyric because back in the day, I probably did because I was thinking about a specific person. But now it's like, I'm not thinking about my first, not like that, you know? So it's hard to pick a favorite lyric in this song. So I picked, I don't know about y'all, but I know about us. It's the only way we know how to rock. I already forgot the lyric. Just because I like that vibe.
It's a cute vibe. It's like with the beat and stuff, you know. It's a good vibe. But this is a harder song because it came out so long ago. And I'm sure when I played it before, maybe I liked a certain part. But now I read the lyrics and it's just like simple words, just talking about a boo. We're older now. And it's just a fun song to throwback vibes. But I had trouble picking a lyric too. I was just going to say the chorus. I think, started when you were younger, you were my boo. Just because I feel like that's such an
It's like a nice melody.
I feel like it's a good vibe. But I like yours too, because I like that vibe too.
And I like the my like that's not really a lyric, but I just like doing that part. That part's fun.
Maybe we should go on The Voice. I feel like we're really good singers.
We should. Whatever you like.
You can have whatever you like.
Someone give us an application to go on The Voice.
I'll throw that in with my Love is Blind application.
Yes. No, I keep encouraging Lauren. I'm like, just do all these applications. We need to get
Love
the podcast
Island.
out there.
I'm going to go on these shows. And, everyone's there for clout. I'm just there to promote the podcast. Every time they show me talking to one of the guys, I'm like, yes, I have a podcast. It's really great.
I mean, it can't be any worse than
it can't
Denver. Denver situation we've had this year.
It can't be any worse than Denver.
So that's all I'm going to say about that. That was fun. I like this song.
I like this song too.
Like I said earlier, it's a good pun for today's topic because it does fit Halloween, but it also fits the scary world of dating.
Even scarier than Halloween.
Exactly. Actually, before we get to the scary dating stories, one of the discussion questions I just wanted to go over, let's do a recap of our young dating life. Not just like how old were you when you started dating, quote unquote, or were you allowed to? Different parents have different rules in different households, if you even remember. Because to me, it sticks out. But, some people, they don't start really seriously even dating until later on.
Well, it's funny. This is a really random story, but I remember I was in like kindergarten.
Me
my
too.
first boyfriend. It's kind of crazy because he's married now and I still know him. But I think we met in preschool, but we went to the same kindergarten or something, and we were inseparable. But our parents were also friends. But everyone just kept saying, oh, yeah, those two, they're going to get married someday, I just remember him because everyone used to comment about how like we were just so perfect together at freaking kindergarten.
That's so cute. What did y'all do together on the playground? Did you have pretend weddings?
Yeah, 100%. We would hold hands, but we were like, we would be mean to each other, but also be nice to each other, you know? But we were inseparable. We were always together. And he was such a nice guy. We actually reconnected when we were older to be like, maybe we should give this a shot.
It worked in kindergarten.
Why wouldn't it work now? But he's a great guy. But no, I honestly just didn't give him a chance. I was just really stubborn back then with dating. I didn't want to date anyone. Yeah, it's just like one of those funny stories because I think he was like my quote unquote first kiss.
See, that's how I feel too, because it's hard because I don't consider my kindergarten boyfriend my first kiss, but technically he was. Yes. If you're talking about first kiss on the lips or whatever, but because we were so young, like, to me, I'm like, okay, but
should we say his name? Should I give him a shout out?
Yeah, I'll say mine if you say yours, except I don't know where mine is.
His name's Dylan. No, you're not named Dylan.
It's not, but it starts with a D.
No, it doesn't.
His name's Daniel.
Oh my God, how wild.
That is so wild. What does his last name start with?
An S.
Same here. I'm not even fucking joking. This was not pre-planned. I swear to God. This is why we're best friends. No, seriously. Yeah. His last name starts with an S too. Yeah.
I'll show you a picture of him after we wrap.
I'll just have to like draw you a picture because I've literally tried to search for him.
You have?
Yeah, like on Facebook, because it's not like I'm trying to like date him, but like, just get curious.
Wonder where people end up.
Because the problem was he moved during elementary school, so we didn't even have a way to search for things back then, and I just have very limited information. So I just searched his name on Facebook before. And just done a deep dive looking at, you wouldn't believe how many accounts I've looked at. But at the same time, it's like the last time I saw him was when we were in kindergarten or first grade or something. So he could look
completely different.
You don't know what they look like.
I know.
Now. Isn't that wild?
That's so wild.
I'm actually in shock.
That's why we are best friends. That's crazy because I think he ended up getting married to someone in our hometown. I had to know what happened to him too. So I just ended up looking him up one day. And I was like, wow, it's just crazy to see where people end up after all this time. And when I saw his picture, it reminded me of him. I hadn't seen him in all these years, but you could still kind of the vibes I got. I'm going to cut this out. But I just realized that technically he...
Wow.
Oh my God.
Full circle.
That's wild.
Well, at least you have answers.
What I'll do is I'll bleep it. I'm going to leave it in.
Okay.
So y'all can't know all the secrets of behind the scenes of what we talk about. You have to be in the group chat to know.
Just know that there's a lot of crazy coincidences.
A lot of full circles that happen.
But I am really jealous about that fact that I hate not knowing. When I hate not being able to, solve like the pieces of the puzzle or whatever. I was going to just talk about my first kiss or love. Of course, I was in kindergarten, but it's funny though, because we're talking about the Halloween episode, just how this comes again full circle, because I remember that when we did kiss, we were having a Halloween party in our classroom and we kissed under a table.
Oh, we kissed under a table too.
Are you kidding me?
No, we kissed under a table too. That just brought back so many memories when you just said that. 100%.
Wait, were we dating the same person?
No,
yes.
that's wild.
That's so funny.
Wow.
But I will say we didn't do like marriages or whatever.
Okay.
But there were kids that were definitely like, oh, you're going to get married or whatever. But we played, this is kind of embarrassing. We played Resident Evil on the playground.
You know what? Doesn't shock me.
And because I guess it was a video game back then and I didn't know what it was, but he was just telling me who to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen that movie, but
I feel like I have at some. It's been a long time.
So the main girl, her name is Alice, and then there's a love interest. And so he was playing the love interest person, the guy. And then he was like, well, you need to be Alice, because he gave some options of character names. And I was like, well, I don't like that name. I want to be Jill. So I was always insistent on being Jill. I didn't get that there was a reason. I feel like we were just running away from zombies on the playground or something.
Yes, that sounds right.
So
why Jill?
Well, I liked that name better than Alice. Okay. And I had very few options. And I was like, I'm not being Alice. Like, I'm not an Alice. I'm a Jill.
Jill. Got it.
Which is funny because now that I've seen the movie and everything, I'm like, okay, I would be Alice. But I also would be Jill. She's pretty badass. Obviously, as you grow older, you're like, okay, that was definitely just puppy love or whatever you call it. But I do remember writing a song about him when I was older. I think I was like 9 or something.
Aww.
And I used to do this thing where, okay, this is actually really embarrassing, guys. But you know that song Jack and Diane? No? Okay. It's an 80s song by John Cougar Mellencamp. Little ditty about Jack and Diane. That song.
That sounded familiar when you just said that.
So I made up a song that was to the tune of that, but I was making my own lyrics, but about me and him. So I was describing how he looked, and it's like, I definitely threw that notebook away, so you're not getting any of that.
Well, you keep everything else. You didn't keep the notebook?
I kept it for a really long time, and then I think
that's all I wanted to see now was that notebook.
I honestly might still have it, but I believe I finally did throw it away a couple years ago.
It's crazy how young we were, but how that can still have an impact on your life.
Just thinking about that, it's like, it's funny that we were only together in kindergarten, but even later on, years later, it's just like, maybe my first love will come back.
I wonder if it's like that for all of you guys out there who had a similar experience, because it is kind of crazy when you think about it. I remember because we had crossed paths again when we were older. I'm talking high school older. And I think we went to a dance together. But you ever have the one when you were younger, like the one that like got away and the one you never got back with? He was definitely the one. I was so convinced that our paths were going to cross again. So one day we're going to get married. And it's just so crazy how things work out.
No, I get that though. Because whenever, just anytime you're single and you're just thinking about that kind of stuff, you're like, oh, well, maybe this will happen.
Yeah, never know.
I hope my granny's okay with me sharing this story, but she had a similar experience where she had a young love when she was in elementary. And basically what happened was he had gone to the military but wrote to her and wanted to come back and marry her.
Wow.
But she had gotten married already, but she was still thinking about that. And then eventually they stopped talking. But later on in life, she found out he had already passed away, unfortunately, but she found out that he named one of his kids after her.
See?
Isn't that like the sweetest?
It's crazy, like the impacts that these things can have on people. You don't think about it at the time. That is really sweet, though.
And she had another person that she had dated when she was really young, and they had met each other again at their class reunion. At this time, she's not married, but then they started talking, but then he died because she was sick because they're old. It is kind of interesting how that stuff can happen. I guess it's more likely, though, if you do stay in your hometown your whole life, too.
You're more likely to end up with someone in your hometown and someone that you've been with before if you stay there your whole life. It's kind of crazy because we talk about this sometimes, but we're some of the few people that left and stayed. We didn't go back. But I always wonder who I'd be married to. If I did stay, if I did go back, who I would be with and how my life would have worked out so differently. Would I be in a small house in my hometown with 3 kids? You know, who knows?
I think it's also just because like movies, we're just influenced by the events of movies and thinking that way.
You never know how things are going to work out.
But there are crazy stories.
There are crazy stories.
That are real.
That are real. It's crazy that me and your grandma have a similar story. I forgot about that until you just shared that. I had a similar experience where in college I was dating someone after my ex had cheated on me with my best friend. Remember that? That was a great story too. After that, some time had passed and I was sworn off all men forever. Right. And I'd met a guy and our paths had crossed. And when I was home for the summer, talk about when you go home for the summer, our paths had crossed through work and he was older than me. It was one of those whirlwind love stories. We were in love within like 3 days of meeting, you know, it was one of those where you're just like, I'm going to marry, this is great. But his life was really complicated. My life was really complicated. I wanted to go to law school and I wanted to leave and I wanted to go out of state. And he wanted to go to the military.
Boo.
And I told myself, I just can't stay with someone who goes to the military. Am I going to get canceled for that?
I don't think so. Well, if you will, I will too, because I feel the same way. I wouldn't be able to commit to that type of...
hard. I give those people a lot of credit.
Yeah.
You know, I was really young. I mean, I was in college. He was really young. And it was one of those things where it's like, I had a whole life in front of me. I just had to go do it. And I didn't want him to turn down his dreams either of going to the military and stuff. And so we had to end things and it was really hard. But all those years later, come to find out that he never really dated anyone because he always thought we would get back together. And when he came home, he tried to reach out to me. I had changed my phone number at the time and he tried to contact me. And it's just so crazy how that stuff works out at the end of the day, because it's always like, wrong place, wrong time, or right place, right time. It really does matter, you know, those kind of things. And he's definitely one of the ones that got away too. I could have foreseen myself being really happy with him, but he has a great life now and I live here and he lives up at home. But
timing has such a big impact on our lives. It does.
I really hope he names one of his kids after me now. So I'm really glad we talked about that. That's going to be the next requirement.
Oh, I guess it depends on if his future wife listens to this and they're like, well, she has to be on board. I have a feeling that my grandma's, he probably didn't tell his wife that, hey, I like this name because it's a lady I'm in love with.
Well, that's what I kind of hope. I hope one day when I find out he has kids and one of them's named my name, I'll be like, I'll know, but she won't know, you know.
Here's
South
a suggestion. Name your kid Lauren.
Name your kid Lauren.
Lauren Jr.
Or move to South Carolina and just live here.
Or that, you know. This is a PSA.
This is a PSA. If you live in Pennsylvania, your name starts with a J, and we used to date.
Also, we're not coming back home, so.
Well, we're not moving back.
Yeah. But you know what's funny is like I never had a whirlwind thing like that except in kindergarten, so that's nice for you.
Yeah, except like I said no 10,000 times. Like he didn't give up. So
see, here's the thing about you: you're getting things offered to you, you just won't take them.
I just get a T-shirt. I get all this shit offered to me, and I say no.
Me, I have my hands out, and I'm just like, give me something. You know, but it's fine.
Like thruples.
Yeah, you get offered way too much, to be honest. Moving on from kindergarten love, what about the more serious but still not serious? Like the first, whenever you can put it on Facebook, or not even Facebook, but I guess because I think we both had probably our first boyfriends before Facebook was really a thing.
MySpace.
It was MySpace.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Bring back MySpace.
I do like vividly remember MySpace.
So much fun back then. MySpace was fun.
So did you have any rules in the house about, oh, you can't date till you're a certain age, or you can't do this or that you could remember?
Well, going from the last episode, I don't think it would shock anyone that I lived in a really strict household. I feel like there were a lot of rules around it, pretty much everything, especially dating. I don't think necessarily that meant that I didn't go on dates or didn't have dates or didn't have boyfriends or whatever, but obviously strict rules around that. What about you?
I don't remember there being a specific rule. I mean, I had my dad that was obviously he didn't want me to date, but it wasn't super strict. I feel like when I did finally I feel like they knew it was coming, if that makes sense. Because they started to notice, I think, when I was having crushes and things like that. And then specifically with my first official boyfriend, we were friends first and hung out and stuff. So I don't think it was any surprise. And I think maybe I'm wrong, but my parents didn't really think I was going to be a bad kid, and I wasn't really. I also maybe just didn't pay attention enough.
You're so sweet. I love you to death. If you want someone to be the poster child for your child, it's Brittany.
I was reading books,
but you really are the best role model. You're like the best person I know.
But yeah, I mean, I just don't remember having the hammer laid on me until my mom caught us making out on the couch.
Okay.
And then my dad wouldn't talk to me for 3 days.
How old were you?
I was 14, I think.
We had a basement growing up.
We did too.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
it's like an up north thing.
we had multiple places when I was growing up that we moved to. But at the time I started dating my first boyfriend, he lived down the street.
I have a story about someone down the street too.
That's so funny. But I low-key was like, we were looking for a new place and I was like, let's check this place out. So I made it.
Ben?
But we weren't dating at the time. So I
Yeah.
just had a crush on him. It's just funny because it's kind of like I was playing God a bit. But so he would come over a lot and I would go to his place a lot just because we lived so close. But we had a basement in that house.
I think basements are
And he
like
had one too in his
up
house.
north thing. And I just, if you asked or you polled every kid who lived up north and had a basement, you're like, yeah, I had my boyfriend at one point of time in my basement. We hung out down there a lot. It was the place to hang out.
Right.
An open book, but I'm like, wow. Because I had a thing with the kid down the street too.
Were you like official? Was it your first?
No. Just the thing with the kid down the street.
Okay.
He was a lot older than me. Yeah, I definitely went after all the bad boys.
That also might be why my parents weren't as concerned because I don't think I was going for bad boys. My first boyfriend was not a bad boy. He was a skater. But
I had a phase where I went after nerdy guys. You know, that was fun.
That's been my whole life, pretty much.
You're bringing back all these memories that I pushed out of my head.
It's just like occurring to me that most of the guys I did date did not play a sport, except my first boyfriend played baseball. But other than that, I feel like the other guys that I dated did not play any sport.
But it's funny because I specifically remember a few guys I dated from other small towns, and they were the more like nerdy type or quiet type, just the cool type. And that had the most fun with them. But I always went after the bad boys.
I know that's a normal thing.
Like to have a phase.
Yeah. Because my cousins were the same way whenever they were starting to like boys, especially my older cousin. She was definitely wanting the bad boys. And I was like, I cannot relate to you.
Oh my God. Sorry, I just had this memory. Someone was saying like if we were going to do guests on the podcast, and I was like, oh, maybe one day. And they're like, you have to have Jax Taylor on the podcast. And it was like came from the most randomest person ever, who I guess assumed I didn't watch Vanderpump or something.
Listen, if we ever have Jax Taylor on the podcast, it's going to be like him in the middle and us obliterating him. So there's going to be no bad boy discussion there. We're going to whip him into shape.
And I would reach out to his PR team.
Well, so whenever you had your first official boyfriend, was it a bad boy? I say official just because for me it was very clear, like clear cut. But some people don't really date seriously until they're out of high school.
Boyfriends? You know, guys who date for 6 months. But it's like casual 6 months. So yeah, like you bring flowers and you go on little dates, go to dinner and the movies and stuff like that.
Did you ever see them as like endgame when you were that young?
No.
Okay.
Did you?
I mean, I think realistically I knew it wasn't going to be like that, but I was like a romantic in the sense that I would want that. Like, oh, I'm going to be with this person for the rest of my life. It was like in my head that I wanted that at the time, but I'm also a sensible person. I know it's not likely. So I guess for me, it was more clear cut that, yes, that's my boyfriend. We're going to date for as long as we can type of thing. Did for over a year, my very first, but a year's nothing in the grand scheme of things. Well, another question I was going to ask, like whenever you did go on dates, what kind of dates? Because I'm assuming, well, I guess you did drive in high school, but before you could drive, did you go on any dates like where your parents had to take you, like that kind of thing?
Yeah, for sure.
What did you do?
I feel like our parents would always just drop us off somewhere.
Like at the
like
movie?
at the mall, the movie.
Same. I mean, it was a restaurant.
And then they'd just pick me up after. That's a crazy time to think back that you're getting dropped off for a date. That's wild.
Like I said, because I do have cousins that are in that age range and stuff. And so it's just funny reminiscing about that time when I hear about it's weird being an adult looking at that. Because like I don't have kids yet, but then they're like my proxy kids in a way. Oh, this is what it's going to be like for me as an adult dealing with my kids doing this kind of stuff. It's just like a weird feeling. I can't believe they're at this point because I know how it was when I was at that point. And I think I was definitely an innocent minded person, but I don't think they are. And like I know that other kids aren't as necessarily. So you just worry. You're like, oh God, I'm going to be a wreck when I have kids one day and having to worry about
I think about that all the time because I was the opposite.
But maybe you'll have a kid like that's more innocent minded.
Yeah, great. That's what I need.
But then I'm scared for me.
You're going to have
because I feel like I'm going to have to just call you. What would you have done in this situation?
100%, just so you know. Yeah, because it was more of a celebration that I didn't have a child in high school.
No, I think that's always a win for parents. parents, though, especially my high school, we had a nursery. We still do. And then the other big high school has a nursery, and they have a waiting list for the nursery. So it's wild because it was a thing, a legitimate concern for parents.
Yeah, like having kids. And then obviously it's always like drugs, alcohol, that kind of stuff. Getting busted for that kind of stuff when you're that young, you know, that's always a worry, I think, for a lot of parents.
My parents should be so fucking grateful. I'm just thinking about this.
I think I should call your parents and be like, you should thank Brittany.
I need a refund money or something, like a reimbursement for being such a good kid.
I think
you didn't have to pay for me to get out of jail.
No,
you didn't have to
worry about you having a kid.
Yeah, exactly. You
never
guys
to
are
send you to
so
rehab.
Lucky. I swear. You know.
Yeah.
But then there's always usually like if you have siblings, there's one that makes up for that.
I know. You were saying sometimes you don't have any serious relationships till you're older. But yeah, I feel like I wouldn't consider my first real serious relationship until I was like a senior in high school.
Yeah. I think that's true for a lot of people. But with like my first serious relationship, that was also my first kiss, like my first, the other stuff. And then after that breakup, I feel like I did have other boyfriends, but there was never a really long-term relationship until after I was like in college. So there was nothing as serious as that. That's why I think I always consider that my first like real relationship. When you have a breakup like that in high school, you still have to see them all the time.
Dude, I know.
And so it's hard.
It's hard.
And with another person. And it's just like
hard. I think that's why a lot of people dated outside of their schools so they could, if their breakups were messy, you know, see them every day. But I'm thinking back to, I got with my first serious ex when he was in college, the one that cheated on me when I was still a senior in high school, and should have been a red flag. Yeah, I thought we were endgame. But back then, which we talked about before, it's like you don't really know what you want or what you're looking for, or what your standards are. And so I feel like that part of life is just hard to navigate and figure out, even in high school or in college or whatever.
And like I said, I feel like even though the breakup and stuff was really hard, I think I always knew that there's a chance, a likely chance this isn't going to be forever anyways. And the older you get, you look back on it still and you're like, that would have never worked out. That's how I feel like. That would have never worked out anyways. Just two different types of people, especially who you grow into. And also I left home. I'm not staying home.
Home is crazy too, because you don't end up with, I think, the people that people think you're going to end up with. Because like, when you leave everyone behind, which is kind of crazy. But oh yeah, 100%. Some of those people now, I'm like, yeah, that didn't work out for a reason.
Although I feel like for you, your ex-lovers are all still coming out of the woodwork.
I dated a guy. He went to Catholic downtown, and he was a hockey player. Oh my god, that man! We had a lot of fun, but that was the guy I'll never forget.
Did you make
so
him
upset?
cry?
Yeah. His name was Eric.
Oh, poor Eric.
I know. And yeah, we broke up.
I'm sorry. Whenever you're in high school, I feel like it should be a well-known fact that you have to establish that you're like official.
Right?
Because like everyone's just like exploring each other.
Yeah, and I know they say like men's brains apparently develop in like their 50s.
Do they develop at all?
I don't think they do. This is a man-hating podcast, but I don't think that their brains...
We've switched it up.
Their brains don't develop, but... Even back then, like men...
Well, their hormones are also... That's what they're thinking with. It sounds like, though, that Eric was a keeper. If he was really... He was an emotional guy.
He was an emotional guy.
Eric, we hope you were happy.
We have to figure out what happened to Eric. He's probably married and has kids.
Unless you're his, like, villain origin story. You breaking his heart.
And he never got...
He never got over it, and now he's just, like, he's running a brothel or something. I mean, like, he's doing something really bad.
Yeah,
and he'll never love again.
My ex who cheated on me sleeps with now.
Whoa.
For money.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Oh my God. This is why you need to go on a reality TV show. Because, yes.
They would be like, wow.
Yeah.
This bitch.
Eric, you dodged a bullet over here. No, I'm just kidding. She would have eviscerated you if you stayed much longer. Because if you had stayed together and he ever fucked up, we'd be hearing about it.
You'd be blasted.
If you deserved it.
If only you deserved it.
She's reasonable.
I'm reasonable.
I did want to talk about, since it's spooky season, another thing I wanted to discuss was scary dating stories.
Yeah.
From other people or like from the internet.
Or you can share our own.
Because I read some Reddit stuff and I was like, wow. I don't really think I did enough of a deep dive on stalking. Because that's like the ultimate scary.
That is
dating. Like when you go on a date with somebody and it turns into a stalker situation. Have you ever been stalked?
Yeah.
Like, did they come to your house?
Yeah.
Okay. Wait, was this in high school?
Brittany's like, yeah.
I just can't relate to this. Like, when did the stalking first start?
I feel like towards the end of high school, but also in college, I had this one guy. He used to wear a cowboy hat. He was
Girl.
he was really in love with me.
No wonder you've been off the internet for years.
He would call me like hundreds of times and I wouldn't answer, and he'd just sit outside my house.
Wow.
And when I'd go outside to talk to him, he would just confess his love for me, and I would be like, well, we're not going to be together. Consider that just like not giving up?
No, that's stalking.
Okay.
That's like you need to get help.
Okay.
Especially with the cowboy hat on top of it. It's just
yeah, and his like tank top with his cowboy hat.
Oh, Lord. Weren't you afraid?
I feel like I could take him.
Okay. That makes sense.
Part of me kind of feels like men were more afraid of me.
I think that's still true to this day. Although I do have a friend, it was her neighbor. He went to school with us, and I feel like he did sit outside her window a lot for a time. She would tell me about it. So, yeah, it's kind of weird. Well, just think about what it would have been like, though, back then if we did have the location sharing and things like that. Because it's funny, when my cousins were in high school, it blew my mind because they'd be like, okay, we know where this person's location is, this guy, we're gonna go find him. They would go and look for him. They'll be like, oh, so and so, they're at this place.
I'd go somewhere. I would have to like call my parents when I got there, call my parents when I got home. You had to be in communication because there wasn't that kind of thing. Can't imagine if there was. Oh God. But also it was like you would have to get information through people. Like, hey, so and so is at this party.
Right.
But I'm just trying to think, I can't imagine in today's world with location sharing what that would have been like back
or
then.
Or even just like the Snapchat, because you can see where people, if you're on the map, you can see where they are and like things like that. But I do think that the scary stuff with dating nowadays is not necessarily the stalking aspect, but just especially with the internet and just being able to lie so easily. That's scary.
Scary.
You know, because you can put yourself as, it's with the catfishing stuff. You can put yourself a certain way on the internet, and then when you actually meet somebody in person, it's a completely different story. Or people can literally just hiding their lives.
It's like crazy though.
It's nuts.
And I just think the internet introduces a whole different realm of things. Because even talking about back in the day, you didn't know what people were doing 24/7, where they were 24/7. As we grew up, MySpace and Facebook became more and more of a thing, and the internet and social media. And when did you get your first cell phone?
I was 14.
I probably was. I had a Razor flip phone.
Same.
Yeah.
That was my first phone.
Same. That's what I mean. Nowadays, kids' first phone's an iPhone. But I do think the new scary part is being able to hide and lie from people online.
Even people that you'll talk to every day, or besides some of the things you've told me, I feel like I've just heard of that. It's a thing. But it's also even scarier too when you're living with the person.
Wild.
Like a Ted Bundy situation.
That's
and
what
it's
I
like
mean.
you just don't know.
Do you really know anyone these days? Can you really trust anyone? People's online persona can be so different than their in-person persona or their lives. The internet's great and it's scary all at the same time. But also I feel like this day and age, I was reading a lot about this too, is that relationships are just treated differently than they were back then. Like nowadays, you have the internet, you have unlimited options, unlimited whatever you want to call it, and relationships just aren't the same. They don't have the same meaning and the same effort. Back then, like a guy had to show up to your house and ask you out. Nowadays, it's like you meet on Tinder.
I think everyone's afraid. Dating is really scary. And people say that a lot because you do hear these horror stories, but also it's like what my biggest fear was when I did use dating apps is you can start something with somebody and then it can seem really great and then just go downhill. You can spend all your time, even if you haven't met the person yet, spend all your time getting to know them and talk to them, and then all of a sudden they ghost you. And it's like, okay.
I feel like people have a lot more walls up and people are a lot less trusting. And it takes a lot to get into a relationship and treat it seriously these days. Like you date a lot of people before you find that, match, because it's so different. It's so different these days.
The spooky story number one.
Spooky story, which fits into the topic, but we'll keep it high level. So there's a situationship. Basically, it's a friend of a friend story. There was a guy that was blowing up one of my friends' phone and talking to her quite often as friends, but also like when they would get drunk, talk more than friends, and was very into it, really wanted to get her attention and that kind of thing. And it went on for months to the point where like, yeah, he's single and maybe he's looking to settle down or find someone kind of thing. And who knows what's going to happen, but at the same time, he talks to a bunch of girls and it's kind of one of those not serious things, but who
like
knows?
It has potential.
Yeah, what could happen down the line kind of thing. Which I think a lot of girls are like, it's hard to navigate those waters of a guy you're friends with, but should you maybe go on a date with them at some point or not? And I think it was a complicated situation thing going on. And I think as it got brought up more and more in conversation, come to find out more of the story is this guy portrayed himself to everyone he knew as two different people. So like some people knew him as single, just having fun, trying to settle down, enjoy life. But then come to find out that his second life, he had a full-fledged girlfriend for a year who had no idea because they lived in separate states and stuff. And eventually planned to live together, get married and all this stuff. She had no idea, obviously, that he was acting like this when he wasn't around her. But this guy was so good at hiding it. No one had any idea. Come to find out that it's all over her social media of them being together. And the social media he did have, he wouldn't use his real name on it. And he thought he was just so good at hiding it that he'd never get caught. And, like, I wouldn't be surprised if he was on the dating apps.
I mean, he
like
did hide
too.
it for a year.
For a year.
That's what's scary.
But that's the thing is it got to a point, I think, where he was so convinced that he was so good at hiding it that no one would ever find out. So he got a little loosey with it, like sending even text messages versus just maybe things on Snapchat or whatever. And it gets to the point where it's like you think you really know someone, and turns out for a whole year they had a second life that no one knew about.
It's like The Sims. That's wild. That's so wild. And I feel like that just in general, you do hear about that. Oh, like the husband had a secret family somewhere.
Yeah.
I feel like just with the way the internet works, in some ways it's harder to get away with that. But then in other ways, if you know what you're doing, you can really
Get
still
away with
hide it. Yeah. And I feel like some of the stories I read online, people that were on the dating apps, there's people on there that are married and that play it off like they're not.
That's all over my TikTok.
Yeah.
Like girls catching their significant others on dating apps and confronting them.
Or on Grindr.
But that's the thing is that I do think that's the new scary vibes, the new spooky vibes is you hear about it or you read about it in like books or stories. Or you see it on TikTok and I've been cheated on before and you start to question everything. And then when you think, oh, you know someone really well and you find out that they could have a whole nother life you didn't know about. I do agree in some ways the internet's great because you can find that stuff out now. And in some ways it's crazy that they can hide all of that. But it is really sad too because it's sad for all the people involved in the situation and sad for all of the craziness that happens afterwards because you just feel bad that people can do that to other people.
I think it's really sad for all the people out there that are really genuinely just trying to find someone. And then it makes it so disheartening to keep going. Then that's why I think they also talk about these days just adults having that feeling of loneliness as well.
People that I've met over the years, it's just as much as you want to give people the benefit of the doubt and as much as you want to trust people in relationships, it's really hard. You're surrounded by all these stories and you have friends that have experienced these real stories. You try your best, but it's hard, especially when you're just looking for something to settle down with someone. It's just this dating world. People say it's the worst one ever these days.
This is why shows like Love is Blind exist, though. Yeah. I mean, personally, I met my boyfriend on a dating app, and it isn't so far a success story. But I feel like that is rare. Like, you did just kind of meet this person from the internet and assuming they're telling you the truth about their lives as you get to know them. But you have to be able to trust that.
But that's good also to hear the good things that can happen out there. You can meet people you never thought you'd meet or you wouldn't cross paths with otherwise if it wasn't for the social media or dating apps or these TV shows like Married at First Sight. It's crazy to think those people might have never crossed your path.
So I feel like sometimes you do have to be a little bit more open-minded, but there's also one of the good things I think about the dating apps is you can create a profile and you can see what somebody's personality somewhat is or like their interest, and you can narrow it down a little bit more. But at the same time, you should talk to them first before meeting, that's for sure. And you can gain a lot just by that. I remember there were people I would swipe right with, and then they would just message me and be like, are you down to have sex tonight? Like the first thing they said.
Those are my favorite TikToks, reading Tinder messages. They're hilarious.
So it's like, I don't think this is the person for me. But yeah, it's just funny because...
I'm sorry, some of y'all on dating apps, you're unhinged as fuck. Like, holy shit.
There should be an unhinged.
Oh, there should be. You check this box if you want unhinged. hinge shit, because that's who it should go to. Because damn, those are your pickup lines. Like, wow. That's why I'm gonna end up on like Farmers Only. That's all I got left in me to try. No, what I will say is it's hard to be positive, especially when you've been hurt a lot in the past or have had a lot of like traumatic situations with dating. And I've had a lot of friends who've been cheated on, and that's hard to process and get through. I think like Brittany was saying, sometimes you just have to be open with it and keep putting your best foot forward and trying to, if that's what you want, and try to find your person. And hopefully the more positive you put out there, you'll receive something back that will work out. Sometimes you have a whole list of things you want. And surprisingly, that list gets really short when you meet the right person, because there's a lot of things that aren't actually as important that are on the list, especially as we get older in our 30s. But also, hey, I get it, man. You want to live on a compound? I'm down. We're going to go to a girls only compound because I've been cheated on, but I don't trust people. Let's go.
That might be the end game for all of us.
There's a lot of people who know about the compound and they support us creating it and going there. Because there's been this new TikTok trend of best friends moving in together. It's all these girls who are our age. They all buy a house together and they all move in together.
I bet it's so clean.
And they separate parts of the house, and and some of them have kids. They bring their kids. They all raise the kids together. But when they do interviews with them, they're like, honestly, this is the happiest I've ever been.
That doesn't surprise me, honestly, because just the way the dating world has gone, it's just hard to trust people. And also just like, someone could be great for the first couple months and then they give you the ick. I think another thing too is that we've, as a society and women especially, we're trying to be smarter about dating and pay attention to the red flags early on. So it is kind of unfortunate, because if you are being really hardcore about that, if you get the slightest ick, you're probably going to bounce. So
standard,
not that I feel sorry for the men involved, because honestly, a lot of them do need to work on themselves and do better, but at the same time, it is one of those things where you have to balance. Nobody's perfect, and try to figure out what the deal breakers are. But I think a lot of people are just like, you know what, we do deserve what we want and need. And so I think if there is a red flag, people are really quick just be like, okay, well, cut this off early on. Because I've been in that situation where I've been in a long-term relationship that was years. And if you look back on it, I'm like, oh, this should have ended like year one.
100%.
But I was just so set on finding the person that I was going to commit to, I think. And then now, especially after that breakup, getting over it and everything, when I started dating again, I was like, no, I need to focus on my standard and what I want out of something. And if somebody's not able to meet that, then I don't have to settle.
I think women who are listening, which I know a majority of our listeners are women. Now there are some men, so men take note. It's okay to have standards. I think as women, it's almost like we're not allowed to have standards. And if it's not meeting your standards and you see red flags, to cut it off. You don't have to stay in something, whether it's been a year or 5 years or a month or whatever. And then I think it just goes to show you, when you do get out of situations like that, you raise your standards for the next time, because it's really important for you to learn where your red flags are and where your standards are and what you're looking for in a partner. And I think when you go through a few serious relationships, you really learn more about yourself. But I feel like women get criticized for having too many standards for men. I'm like, sorry, men, get your shit together.
I was reading this article on a brief history of dating and how it came about, basically. And dating really started in I'm bad at centuries, but in like the late 1800s or whatever. And it basically started because of women, which is kind of a double-edged sword, because dating sucked. But at the same time, it's when women started getting more rights, it was less about like, oh, giving your dowry over. So women started getting to choose the men that they wanted to be with. And so really, dating is about women's standards, and it got away from us somehow.
The men always take over. They think they get all of our rights.
I think the problem is that why they say people aren't getting married now and people aren't having kids. I think it's also because women have found that it is sometimes better to be single than to put up with
the bullshit.
Because if we're going to do everything on our own, like we can do that on our own, literally.
Not with your ass here too.
We don't need anyone to take care of us anymore necessarily. I think we all would like that in a sense. We would like to feel like we have somebody on our side.
But listen, and coming from someone, I'm definitely more towards a hopeless romantic. I like to believe that someday everyone can find that kind of hopeless romantic thing for them. But what I will say is I do think that's slowly dwindling. That's not the focus anymore. If I find it, that's great. If you're happy, that's great. But at the same time, I'm okay being independent and being alone if that means that it saves my peace at the end of the day. But I think women are finding that middle ground now and being more confident in that middle ground versus how things were in the past. And so it'll be interesting to see where the next like 10 years takes us, because I do feel like it's changing with the times.
And it's also nowadays, it's not as frowned upon to get separated or divorced. It's one of those things where maybe people are still willing to get married, but they're also willing to leave easier. But the dating world is kind of humorous as well, just to hear the stories. And I will say that there are horror stories that men have too, like from
100%.
dating men. It's definitely on both sides. I think everyone's having a hard time.
100%.
Mainly the people that are really trying to date.
Like that girl that said grace over chicken fingers.
That is an insane story. Oh my God.
I had a guy friend who told me about a date he went on, and she was really great. And next thing you know, she wants to get chicken tenders, and they say grace over chicken tenders. And he takes her home, and she's like moving herself in. She's saying about where she's going to put all of her furniture, how she's in love with him, our parents are going to love him, and how eventually they're going to live in a compound with her parents. And it really goes south quickly.
See, this is like one of those unique stories where I feel like men don't pay attention to red flags.
Yeah, they don't.
I would have left after the praying over the chicken tender. But I mean, that's just me.
I know, but it was the fact that he went to eat the chicken tender and she slapped it out of his hand and was like, "What do you mean we're not saying grace before we eat the chicken tenders in the middle of a fast food restaurant?" And the grace was like 20 minutes.
I mean, I would have just walked out while their eyes were closed. But I mean, it could always be worse. Well, I was just going to bring up a friend story of mine too, where I'm going to very briefly describe this. But she said that this wasn't on a dating app, though. This was just some guy she met out in the public. And he had worked as a bartender. And then he had invited her to come back and talk to him while he was working. And so she did. And so she's drinking at the bar, and he asked her out, like, to go out on a date that night once he gets off work. And so she's like, okay. And they went back to his place to get ready because he had to change. And then he tells her that he's taking her on a date to the strip club. And she's already tipsy at this. And she's like, no, that's not what I want to do. But somehow he talks her into doing it, right?
Men, take note. Women don't want to go to the strip club.
No, we don't want you going by yourself.
Yeah,
and we don't want to go with
you.
you. Okay. But yeah, he made it seem like, oh, the dancers are in the back. It's just food and
nice strip
a
club.
nice bar and blah, blah, blah. So she had never been to one. So she was like, well, okay, I guess we'll go. So they go.
Women should get more credit.
I know. Well, we're so nice, first of all.
That's the problem.
And so she goes, trying to be, I feel like we have this pressure to be a good sport or else we're judged.
Team player.
We don't want to be like a prude, but at the same time, this is ridiculous.
This is ridiculous.
So come to find out, he's bringing her to the strip club and his mistress is there. His mistress is a stripper. She finds this out as she's there. And it's his mistress because she's married. The stripper has kids. And so my friend's finding all this out in real time. And he basically tells her as if he thinks she's going to be on board with this. But he's like, yeah, she's married. It turns me on. And then he's also like, I want us all to, he tries to pull them both on his lap. And my friend leaves, obviously, because at that point she's sobered up completely. Yeah. This is where we draw the line. We can only be so nice.
I don't want to be with your mistress at the strip club.
But can you believe that shit? Why do men think that stuff's okay?
Because men aren't
and that women are going to be on board with it.
And you wonder why this is a man-hating podcast. Because men aren't okay. Are their brains okay?
I mean, can you imagine?
No.
It almost sounds fake, but I promise it's real.
No, it's real.
It's a real thing.
We know who this person is.
Because I was like, hey, do you have any scary dating stories? And immediately I was like, yeah, that's scary as fuck. That is really scary.
But see what women put up with?
I know.
The bullshit. You can go out in the public and just meet a guy.
So just the regular, normal dates.
What happened to the regular men?
Exactly.
Did they all get, like, kidnapped by aliens? I just don't understand. What happened to asking a girl on a date, going on a real fucking date, and being a real fucking good guy? What happened to that? Because I'm telling you right now, my ass ain't going to a strip club.
Honestly, my ass isn't going to get chicken fingers either. I mean, as much as I love them.
I know, because I think that was her bare minimum she was willing to offer to a man.
Although I will say that I don't have standards in terms of whenever I was dating, I wasn't required to, hey, you have to take me to a fancy restaurant. I was fine with just meeting people casually. Because I don't know if I'm going to like you. I don't need you to spend your money on me because I may want to dip really quick. But I think it's important that men should try.
What happened to trying? I just don't understand.
It's a privilege to be with a woman, in my opinion. I mean,
we make the world go round for you men.
Well, and I did want to just read some Reddit stuff too. There's a lot of talk about men going on dates with therapists. Like, that's their job. Okay. And I didn't know it was a thing, but there were these men that were just talking about how they'll go on these dates with these women that are therapists and they diagnose at the table. They're like, oh, well, you probably act that way because of your childhood trauma.
I'm
like,
sorry,
just immediately.
But I would love every moment of that shit.
Honestly,
fucking make me a fly on the wall.
I was thinking it was kind of like, okay, this is like a good revenge.
This is great. We should hire a bunch of therapists and put them out there in the world. Those men need help. They're not going to therapy on their own. They got to fucking date one. They think they got to sleep with one to be able to go to therapy.
But one guy was like responding to this person's post about the childhood trauma being brought up. And then he was like, I've had a similar experience where we hadn't even met in person yet, but I was just talking to she asked me if I had ever been diagnosed for autism.
Oh my God.
So that was pretty fucked up because it was like, I was going on there to feel good about myself.
Like,
and then
really insane, actually.
So some of these, the therapist stories, they really are not being professional.
Really out there. He's probably never going back on a dating app after that.
I think he said he wasn't. On a first date is probably a little much, but it is kind of funny at the same time. These are the things hilarious. That men are scared of.
I know.
Being,
men are afraid of diagnosed and tell them what the fuck's wrong with them to be in a better partner. Pray for us all.
Another guy had talked about how he started dating someone from the dating apps, and the reason that he stopped dating this person is because apparently she turned British when she drank. She would start talking in
with a British accent.
With the British accent, and I guess that gave him.
Governor.
I guess that gave him the ick or some sort.
Okay,
but yeah,
so he's definitely not into role playing. God.
Well, apparently she's also started coming off British through text, and that was where he drew the line.
Oh,
not just in person.
I guess all men have to have standards of some sort. I feel if a man started talking to you
in British,
yeah, when he was drunk.
No, that would be weird. I think it would be weird.
I agree it'd be weird.
However, when you're reading these stories online, I think it's funny how the men's reasons for their bad dating stories is stuff like this. And for women, it's like, oh, he broke into my house, he was stalking me, or had a secret family. Yeah. It's just funny because the differences right here just say everything you need to know.
Slept with my best
about
friend.
the things that women put up with versus men. Like, men can't handle anything bad. And then it's like for women.
That's actually the most accurate thing I've ever
The
heard.
breaking point is the secret family type of situation.
Yeah. Like, as soon as I find out you have a whole girlfriend, well, that's a problem. But if you speak in British when you're drunk, that's
you can look past
fun.
that. Women can look past that kind of thing. And we can also look past it because I feel like men are just like, oh, well, that's probably because you're on your period. And we'll look past that. And then they can't handle being told that they have childhood trauma. It's just crazy, the differences. Like,
wow. I've heard a lot, actually. Now that I think about it, I'd be like, one day I was looking at her and her nose is shaped a little funny. And then I thought to myself, well, if my kids have that shaped nose.
Oh my God.
These are the things that men talk about. And they're like, so I just couldn't be with her anymore.
But then they get mad if a woman's that savage. That's another thing. It's frustrating. It's just always a double standard.
What I will say is something I heard recently was that a lot of men are insecure if a woman is really successful in life. And there's a lot of men who know it's the biggest ick. I didn't realize it was a big ick for you guys. They're like, no, it's intimidating. I just can't date a woman like that.
It's also frustrating because I feel like the women that do speak out about this kind of thing, it's like we're so feminist. But this stuff has been happening for a century. And it's not necessarily getting any better. Can you imagine if all of us were just like, well, we won't date a guy if they don't do the dishes? All these men would be single.
How do men survive on their own?
Meanwhile, you have men sending you videos about like jet laundry. So they don't have to fucking walk down the stairs.
That's because men aren't capable of putting their clothes where they need
to. No, it's because they're now being asked to do the laundry because women are taking control of themselves and having these standards. And so they're figuring out ways to get around it. I do have an article to discuss where we can give a PSA for any guys listening, or just in general for women who can relate to the things that maybe men don't realize are scary. I think a lot of the actions is really based on ignorance, but there's not really an excuse for it at the same time when you could make an effort.
Let's go.
Should we just roll right into it? Okay. This article is based on a submission of women. The article is titled, "Women are revealing the things guys think are normal that make women feel unsafe, and men, you should take notes." The first thing on the list. It's kind of funny because it should be common sense, but not taking no for an answer. It should be common sense, but apparently
Men,
especially I think this happens in the dating world, they're just not willing to be rejected. They'll keep trying until a certain point. And the other comment this lady made was whether they're asking for your number, a date, or even to be friends, they think they're demonstrating how interested they are, but they're actually being creepy at best. Because, you know, it is that kind of sentiment where men think you're playing hard to get. That's not a thing anymore, guys.
No.
We're not. That ended like a long time ago. Whatever that was. It was something men created.
They just didn't want to be rejected.
To blame us. So, PSA, when we say no, we mean no. And that goes for a lot of I guess it can be a game for some people.
Men like the chase. They think they're entitled to the yes. I think that ties into a lot of ghosting too, though.
Yeah.
I think sometimes people just find it easier to just ghost.
Well, for women especially. The second one was the "where's my hug" guy. I don't know if I've really ever experienced that. But
that just brought back so many memories. The amount of men
I've definitely gotten smile for me, especially from old men. I just remember growing up, and I know
ick.
It's the biggest ick. So did you have people your age ask that? I didn't really get that.
I feel like I just went on dates and like, oh, where's my hug before you go?
And did you get an ick?
Yeah, I just feel like if it was the guy I was into, he wasn't like, where's my hug?
Why are you saying it like that? Is it like you're entitled to a hug?
Yeah, they're entitled to, because they took me on a date. You're not entitled to any of that.
This is such a good PSA. Stop asking women for hugs.
There's a lot of men out there who use that line and think it's like a pickup line.
It's never been used on me. But maybe I give off the vibe, don't hug me. Another one, I have experienced this. Depending on the maturity level of men that you interact with, it's still a thing today, is just constantly changing the subject to sex. Like whenever you're having a conversation. I can't tell you how many times I was just trying to eat a hot dog growing up. And it's just like, now I don't eat them.
But that's a real thing, though. I can't tell you. Even men I'm friends with. The amount of men that have fucking reached out to people who know people to see if we really have OnlyFans is like the actually mind-blowing thing.
Fucking dead.
I'm just saying.
Stay tuned for the My Boo Moo on OnlyFans.
Subscribe.
The after show.
These people were like, can I get a free subscription? And
Not only do they think that we're serious about that, but they also think that they're just going to get a free subscription because they're entitled to it, apparently.
They don't want to pay for it.
Okay. So just to make a disclaimer right now, if we ever do get an OnlyFans,
you have to pay for it.
Have to pay for sure. Damn. It's so funny too, because the fact that on this podcast, I feel like you're being so real and you're really opening up and talking about your thoughts and your feelings on important subjects. But all they care about is that do you have an OnlyFans? Yeah. Wild. Actually,
I listened to a podcast recently where it was a man's point of view. And this lady was like, well, what's with men thinking nowadays you go on one date and the woman should just have sex with you? It's just a thing now, more than ever. And the guy was just like, well, that's the expectation. It's like, that's all they care about. I'm only checking this box. And then she was like, but after you hook up with her, he's like, yeah, then I'll know if I'm interested or not. Whatever happened to going on a date to go on a date?
But that's the thing. A lot of them are just not interested in getting to know someone, because I think everyone in general should see a therapist. You need to figure out why you don't want to connect on a deeper level. That kind of segues into the next thing someone said on this list, is how men will make unsolicited comments about a woman's body. Let me see if I have an example. Somebody said that they had a guy say that when they asked if they met before, he made a comment like, we must not have because he would have remembered my body. And she was like, I was in my 20s and he was in his 50s. And he made that kind of comment.
That doesn't shock me. It's made about like that about me before.
I've had comments made about, for men, made about like my weight and things like that, for sure, and unsolicited.
This shit's wild.
Actually, I remember in law school, me and one of my friends we were to our parking lot, and I remember, and she's like a very beautiful girl. So I was kind of surprised that these men said this, but there were these men in a truck and were waiting on us to walk by to pull into a spot. And they literally yelled out to us, like, you guys aren't hot enough to be walking that slow.
Wow.
It's just like, who the fuck do you think you are?
That's like literally insane. I feel like it is really hard being a female in this field. I will say, I feel like a lot of men aren't great, especially in the legal field. Not saying there aren't great men out there in the legal field. I've been to a few conferences before and I've had comments made about me, but I met someone who's a friend of a friend. I was thinking about switching jobs. And so my mentor had called and was like, hey, if you're going to have a position up on the team, she'd definitely be interested. And this guy proceeds to be like, oh, which one? The hot one in the short skirt? Was that the one that you were talking about? And that's the crazy part. Because then the whole time I'm thinking like I'm wearing a suit. And yeah, it was a pencil skirt, but it wasn't that short.
That's the extra anxiety of everything is like how you look. And I definitely have experienced that as a woman just all my life. And that's why I feel like I have insecurities about it. Like,
very uncomfortable.
It is, yeah. And honestly, it doesn't surprise me that the female attorneys were worried, because I remember in law school, we were told that it was always stricter for women on the dress code in law school as well. I don't remember which professor was really hardcore about it, but they were always like, it's not acceptable for you to wear. I think it was even like speakers that came and spoke, and they were like, it's not acceptable for you to wear this type of heel, or you can't wear any colors. And it's like, you know,
black pants, black jacket. You had to like look like a man.
And I mean, I can't even tell you how long this lady went on about this. It was like for 30 minutes. I swear to God.
I swear it was an hour.
And it was only about the women's
I still
clothes.
think about that.
Yeah.
She literally word for word said, if you want to compete with the men, you need to look like a man. So like, do not stand out. Black.
Yeah. And don't wear anything that's revealing, tight. Don't wear any short skirts. Don't have your hair a certain color. I think she even talked about nail polish and things like that.
She did talk about nail polish.
And it's just like, I remember at that point sitting there being like, this profession's probably not going to work for me. Just because I can't be told what to do like that. You know what I mean? Like, really... just like, go to the next one on the list. There's also catcalling. I feel like that's one of those things where it's like,
please stop.
How have we not gotten past that? Literally, Lauren and I went to a concert and she was catcalled like multiple times while we were just trying to find her car. We were literally like yelling out of the car. I think they even offered to give you a ride. And it's just like, I don't understand how that's still a thing.
That's like really gross. I said to Brittany, I'm like, good thing I'm with you, because you just never know these days.
I've heard stories about if somebody doesn't react well to the catcalling, the men will be either mad or more persistent. They're being rejected, even though I don't know why you thought that would work.
It's nice to tell a woman that she looks good, she's beautiful. You know, there are appropriate ways to do that.
There are, yeah. So anyways, I feel like that should be an obvious one. This one's really interesting. And this is one that I think really men may not realize is a problem. So whenever a woman is telling you about how another man made them uncomfortable, and then the man that you're talking to is saying, oh, well, I'm sure they didn't mean it that way.
Talk about mansplaining.
So it's just that mentality that you're still on the side of the man.
Yes.
Or it's just invalidating someone's feelings and not fully understanding the things that women go through. And they did mean it. I'm sorry. They probably did. 99% of the time they meant it that way.
Yeah.
And if they didn't, then they're ignorant and they shouldn't have said it anyways. Another one is whenever guys say, you're so small, I could pick you up, I could throw you around. Just making those types of comments.
We are really small.
I could break your arm if like I wanted to.
Has that happened to you before? Something like that?
No. I mean, I've been told I'm short, but I don't think I've ever been like super tiny to where somebody would say that. Now, I have a close friend who is very small, and she has expressed before how she doesn't like how men pick her up. And they do, because they think it's funny because she's so small. Right. I have never thought about that before just because that hasn't happened to me, but I bet that does happen to people. But people will cross boundaries thinking it's a joke.
Am I about to say something controversial?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'm small and I've been picked up a lot.
Yeah.
But I like being picked up.
Oh, okay.
I'm trying to figure out what's the opposite side of it.
Maybe because she's a lesbian and she doesn't want men touching her like that. So maybe that's a big part of it. But I think also it's maybe, I don't know if it's in your situations, you already had that type of relationship with the person.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not just, was he picking you up as soon as you meet in a restaurant?
Well, I think in her experience, it's just, I think it's more of a roughhousing type of thing, just like joking around. I personally, I haven't had this happen to me very often, but I do think that I would also feel uncomfortable if it's just because something like that hasn't happened to me solicited since maybe like high school. But it didn't really bother me at the time because usually it's somebody I'm comfortable with. But I can understand feeling
uncomfortable.
Well,
I like being small. I like being picked up. It's
okay,
fine.
I think the point is that you shouldn't just do whatever you want with someone's body. You should just
100%.
always be
Well, yeah,
mindful
100%.
that
Some
not
people might not
everybody.
like.
It's kind of like when people don't like to be hugged. Some people hate being
100%.
hugged.
Apparently, it's just like a fetish. I like being thrown around. You're a bit kinky.
A lot of the other things on this list are pretty similar. It's more about just personal space, people hovering over you. I feel like that can happen regardless. But then another interesting one that someone pointed out is like when you have a maintenance man or somebody come in, it's like they try to hit on you
all the time.
And so it's very uncomfortable. I feel like that should be obvious. I would report that if that were a thing, just because you're doing a job. So it's like a harassment type of situation. I feel like that again should be another obvious one. When I lived alone, especially, and I would have maintenance people come in, it was always men, and I always felt really uncomfortable. Someone also brought up in the list just about how some men, whenever they talk about their muscles or how strong they are, I think they're just doing it as a way to flex. But for some women, that's also uncomfortable because it's almost like you're saying, look how easy it would be for me to hurt you. Almost like because you also don't know
people's past
traumas,
history.
And
you don't
so
know anything when you meet them.
I think it's just always important to be careful about that. But I think majority of men don't necessarily mean it that way.
So far, I feel like it's a really good list because if you polled women, actually, this list would make sense. It would be an accurate list.
And also, I think it's nice to have an online list because it's not just us.
No.
I think a lot of times we're told like, oh, you're overreacting. And it's like, okay, but this isn't just me that feels this way. And these are women from all over the country or different walks of life. And it's like, if we're all having the same experience, what does that tell you? You know,
you're the problem.
Exactly. Or at least like, validate our feelings.
Yeah, it validates our feelings. What I will say too is I think people think women exaggerate, but I'm going to be honest. I think twice. I don't answer the door if I'm by myself. I think twice letting someone in my house, even if they're fixing something, if I'm by myself, if I should, tell Brittany where I'm at, text her my location. And I do think women get judged for that. But I think this list proves, like, it's not just us.
And by the way, this article is from 2024. It's not super old. It's still a concern today. So I might read this one in full just because it's kind of on topic of what we were just saying. This woman said, engaging with me in public, like men engaging with her in public, and then getting upset if she doesn't give them the reaction they want. She said, I don't know if they think it's normal, but it's happened so often in my life that I can't come to any other conclusion. When I was younger, I was sweet and unassuming and would smile and talk to everyone. That almost always led to strangers to believe that I might be interested. When I would politely decline to give numbers out or meet up, they would lash out angrily and say things like, you're not that cute anyway, it's effed up that you lead people on. And then after getting that reaction so often, she said she eventually decided it was her fault.
It's always our fault.
And I feel like that does happen. If you give an inch, they take a mile. And honestly, just because someone's being nice back to you doesn't mean that we want to sleep with you. We just are trying to be nice. And
it's like you can't be a nice person anymore.
But it's interesting. I just had this thought. Okay, let's say you were talking to a guy and you were flirting and they were flirting, and then they try to ask you out and you're like, no, I don't really want that right now. Normally, I feel like in those situations, the guys get mad or say something accusing you of leading them on. But how about when a guy's flirting with a girl and then the girl's interested and then the guy just all of a sudden is like, well, I'm not looking for a relationship.
That's their favorite line.
And that happens all the time. Again, it's like the double standard. So like, I never said I was committing to you.
Talking to 19 girls. Have you seen my roster? I mean, seriously. And then God forbid if you're talking to 2 or 3 guys, they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you're a slut all of a sudden.
How dare you?
I mean, it's just ridiculous. We're crazy no matter what we do, by the way.
We should get that on a t-shirt.
So another one on the list is about how specifically with lesbians, they're not respected by men as like being lesbians. So they'll always make comments like, well, prove that you're gay, things like that. Or they'll make jokes out 3 ways and just like,
I think I just got really sick.
Yeah. No, but it's like a thing.
I believe you. And men's egos are huge.
I've heard those comments, and because I do have friends that are lesbians, and it's like there's all these men that are just like, oh, prove it.
I just really can't. Like, sorry they don't want to fuck you.
Honestly, I think out of this whole list, that might be the biggest dick for me.
It's like really gross.
But it's almost like they can't fathom that there's a woman out there
that doesn't want that man's.
Or that doesn't want a man in general, which is hilarious. There's a lot of them, and some of them are straight. So I feel like if anything comes from this podcast, that's the biggest PSA.
No means no.
Yeah, exactly.
Fuck. Take your ego and go to the strip club.
Yeah, for real.
Go find a mistress there.
I think the last one I'm going to read on this list is about old men, actually. A person that wrote on this list said that they have a daughter that's like 8 or 9, and that it's always the older men that come up and just tell the mom, your daughter's so beautiful.
Oh.
And she would even be with the husband, but it was always directed to the mom. I feel like I remember this growing up a lot, and it was normal. So I didn't feel as weird about it then as I do now. But I do remember growing up, and whenever I went to church, and the older men were always talking about, oh, you're beautiful. It's like, okay, you can say a kid's beautiful and it be innocent for sure. But I do feel like there's a lot of men that would say that. And you kind of start to wonder about that sometimes, I think. So it's just a little bit weird.
Girls are just definitely treated differently. I think I have some trauma from this, honestly, because it's something that growing up having red hair.
Because it's a unique feature, too, on top of everything else.
And they would come up and touch it.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
To the point where it was like multiple times a day, pet my hair and touch my hair.
Yeah.
And be like, this is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
As a kid, you don't have a way to say no to that as well. Honestly, that's kind of how it is being a woman in general.
I think that's why I got rid of my red hair for a long time.
One thing that I did want to conclude with the list, at least, is that it was kind of like the conclusion of the article. It was talking about how there's a mom that was talking about having a teenage son, and during his growth spurt, people would make comments about how tall he is and how he's going to be large. And she said that the mom has started teaching him small things to make women feel safe, and making sure to not absentmindedly shadow a woman as they're walking behind them. Like, I think that's nice. And I think people have talked about this in general. It shouldn't be all on the mom to teach men these things, but something that I think would be helpful going forward in society.
It's definitely
teaching your young boys that, hey, these are things that, you know, can sometimes, it may not be on purpose, but it can make people feel a certain way.
I think it's at least a good stepping stone.
That's all I had for the article. I feel like we can go ahead and transition into our check-in. I was just thinking we could just do more of a Halloween recap. We could talk about the boo basket trip we had.
Yeah, you should do that with your friends.
I think it is more a woman thing that is done, but if you just want to treat yourself during Halloween season. So it's basically something that I found on TikTok a couple years ago, where girls were talking about how they would have their boyfriends go to Target and make them a boo basket.
It's a really cute thing, though. It's really cute watching those TikToks.
It's just this cute concept where you can go to really any store, Walmart or Target or whatever, but I feel like I've always done it at Target. And I also have only done it for myself, because it's not that my boyfriend wouldn't do it for me. I just like picking out my own stuff. Yeah. So basically you would go to a place like Target and you would get a Halloween basket and just find little things to put in it. Just a treat yourself moment. And then also where I found it from was Book Talk. So it would be, you would pick out a book for yourself, like a thriller or something for Halloween themed. And so I've been doing this for 3 years now. The past 2 years, Lauren and I have been doing it together, and it's been a really fun friend trip.
I think the holidays, as you get older, they're just different. Example for Halloween, it gives you a chance to treat yourself, and you have a reason to go out with a friend or go out by yourself or go with a family member. And just have a little bit of fun during the holiday time. Whether you want to do it for Halloween or you want to do it for Christmas or New Year's or whatever, it gives you a chance to have a little bit of fun, treat yourself, get you a few things maybe you wouldn't normally just go to the store and get, and you know, enjoy some time.
I guess I didn't think about this because we both don't have kids. Maybe you want to do it with your kids. I don't know. I set a budget and they can get a kid's book.
But also, I think it gives even women with kids a reason to go out and treat themselves.
Well, and honestly, like, we got cat toys for our cats. I do think it's like fun to do for yourself, like a treat yourself moment.
Like, it is like
trick or treat yourself.
Trick or treat yourself. It's all about celebrating the small wins in life, and I think it makes the week better. Life is short, guys, and honestly, we're all busy, so it's just fun to have a moment, whether you do it with your friends or you do it with your significant other, to like enjoy those days in life. We don't really celebrate Halloween anymore. You know, we're older now, and yes, we don't have kids, and maybe that will change one day, but it gives us a chance to do something for Halloween.
I feel like since I started doing this, I've been more into Halloween too. It makes me appreciate the holiday more. I think it can be worth it if it brings you joy.
I know Halloween's here now, but I say we keep doing this podcast and we all do a Christmas basket or something. Have something to look forward to, you know,
because they do that too. That's also like a trend, but for Christmas. Like,
I just think, I know sometimes the holidays are hard for people or fun for people or whatever it is, but it gives you something to look forward to. That would be fun.
Because whether you're single or in a relationship, you can still celebrate the holiday and yourself and do whatever you like. Well, I do have a couple Halloween themed questions for you.
Oh boy.
Do you have any memorable Halloween costumes that you want to share from over the years? I definitely had like a costume every year.
I definitely had costumes. I just don't know if any of them were memorable. When I was little, like really young, I was Little Mermaid.
That's cute. I was Belle.
Oh, I love that. See?
Yeah.
That's the theme.
One year, I remember, because I have a picture of it. One year, my mom just picked out my costume, and I was in 5th grade, and she made me be a mail order bride. And it was like this wedding dress with stamps on it.
If that doesn't describe our childhood perfectly, then
I'm like, I don't even know what this is.
Fucking hilarious.
And I didn't know what it was until much later. I don't think she'll remember why. Honestly, I feel like I have tried to ask her and she's like, I don't know. That's like the most unique one because I've never heard of anybody else being one of those.
No, it wasn't a normal costume.
I know it wasn't. I look back on it now and I'm like, wow, okay. I feel like my favorite costume once I got older, I was Pikachu one year.
That's adorable.
And it was fun. Those are my top costume memorable ones over the years.
I wish I had better memories of dressing up.
The only other question is if you had any favorite scary movies.
Fun fact about Lauren's part of the podcast of the 2 girls, 2 mics, is that she doesn't do scary movies.
Yeah.
It's like one thing. I've seen The Conjuring. I've seen the movie. You know what I mean? I've seen the movies, but I don't do scary movies. I don't do scary things. I can watch true crime. I can watch documentaries. I don't know, man. There's something about those scary fucking movies that I know it's not real, obvious. Yeah. But at the same time, I don't know.
I've had friends like that too that have said that it's honestly they're more scared of the things that they know it's not real, but that's what freaks them out. And I'm the opposite because for me, I don't get scared by that kind of stuff. I get scared of like when a stranger calls, that kind of stuff where it's like real life, somebody's in my house. Like that shit. I was like,
oh god,
sweating.
I remember that movie.
Yeah, that still scares me to this day. The real life stuff is what freaks me out. Was there any scary movie that you were like, okay, you'll never watch it again, but you appreciated it? You thought it was a well done film?
No, because I watched them like this. And I'm like, oh no! And then I'm like,
so then you can't even really say you've seen a scary movie.
I've seen them. I sat through them.
With your eyes closed.
Well, like this.
So you can't really appreciate the cinematography.
If you don't like people who freak out during movies, you do not want to watch a scary movie with me. If you're like, you want to watch it because you want to watch the movie, right?
Yeah.
There are people movie people. I want to watch the storyline. I want to watch the movie. Okay, don't do that with me. Because if there's a scary movie and that fucking Annabelle doll's walking, I'm like, run! What the fuck are you doing? The whole time I'm yelling at the TV.
But you know dolls can't walk in real life, right?
I don't know. I mean, fuck. So people are like, Lauren, shut up.
So that's another thing is you probably don't like the illogical parts of those movies.
That pisses me off.
Yeah, I get that too. But the thing is, I think that's what makes it not scary for me because I'm like, in real life, nobody would just be that stupid.
I don't know. I know a lot of stupid people.
But for Lauren, it's rage bait. Sometimes guys like to go with girls because they know they'll be scared and huddle into them. It's like, no, Lauren's turning into like a gangster and just fucking like she's literally scaring the men more than the movie.
I'm just telling you, you wanted to know.
Yeah, no, I did want to know. It's very entertaining to talk about this. Anytime I want to get Lauren triggered, just for the fun of it, I'm just like, hey, what do you think about my dolls?
In case you're wondering, there are no dolls in my house. Yeah. They've all been thrown away.
What about The Purge?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Purge isn't scary, though.
See, The Purge is scary to me.
No, fuck.
But
I want to be a part of The Purge. Let me join.
Announcing the commencement of the annual Purge.
The Purge 5 men.
The Purge 5 men. You know what? I think that would do really well in theaters.
It probably would.
It would probably be the #1 movie.
I mean, we have such great business ideas. I do like scary movies for the most part. I do find them entertaining, but things that are more real life, I don't like as much. It actually does scare me. I've never had a ghost experience in real life. I think that's also another reason why that stuff doesn't bother me because I have heard some people are like, well, I really believe in ghosts. So that makes it more scary for them. So for me, it's not that I don't believe there's spirits, but I just haven't had any scary ghost encounters. I feel like I do fine in a haunted house. I always survive. So, well, to be fair, those aren't ghosts in there.
I just have this mindset that if the ghosts are really out there or the spirits or whatever, I don't want to piss them off. So when we move to the compound, Brittany's going to get a room with her dolls and I'm not going to go in it.
That's fine.
Glad we agreed.
I mean, or we could do exposure therapy and get you used to taking care of dolls. And they'll be your children too.
I might need something
Xanax.
to help with that. Like something strong.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine though if you ever dropped acid in a room full of dolls? You'd probably like lose your fucking mind. Not that I've ever done that. I haven't. Like, I'm being for real. But I just know what it's supposed to be like. And
I feel like that'd be really bad. Why would you want that for me? I'd probably leap out of a 3rd floor window.
well, don't you want to know my favorite scary movie?
Yeah, I do.
I wonder if you'll be surprised.
I don't know if you've told me.
The Ring.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's very scary.
I'll remember that now.
Yeah, I was so terrified. I watched it when I was 7.
A lot of people have seen The Ring. Like, pieces of it throughout my lifetime because it's a popular movie.
Oh, you never watched the whole thing?
No.
Oh, you want to?
No.
Well, it's like one of those scary movies that it's more creepy than scary, I feel like. There's not a lot of jump scares.
Okay.
But you'll probably never sleep again.
I don't know. I've heard a lot of people talk about this fucking movie, okay? And they're like, you shouldn't watch this. Because I don't sleep already.
This is just how I'm a bad influence. But just since I've been talking about my cousins a lot, I just want to mention that my youngest one, she's 10 now. But we watched this movie. They like scary movies. But for some reason, I'm like, hey, it's October. Let's watch this scary movie together. And because at the time she was like 6, I was like, well, I watched it when I was 7. It's probably fine. So we watched this. And she's also just watching it like this the whole time.
Yeah.
So then as I'm watching it with her, I'm like, this was a bad idea.
You scarred
Like,
this
I'm
girl
going to
for
scar.
life.
No, listen. Afterwards, the next day, she was like, can we watch The Ring again? Like, she loved it. And she kept talking about it for a really long time. She just kept wanting to rewatch The Ring.
Should we call one of those therapists from the dating app to help figure out if we should be concerned?
No, because then I was creeped out. I was like, wait, I don't know if this is good. No, she's normal. It's fine. She's fine now. But like, yeah, it was kind of funny that that was the reaction.
So someday at her wedding, make sure you tell that story.
I will, for sure.
I'm glad she's okay.
And actually, her hair, I told her she should be Samara for Halloween sometime because her hair's about that long. The white dress and walk around. Yeah. But she said she wanted to be a Dallas Cowboy cheerleader this year.
Okay, that's more normal. Thank fuck. All right, thank you, Jesus. Positive influences, Brittany.
I'm still going to be pushing for The Ring.
Let us know what your favorite scary movie is.
Okay, I guess this brings to the close.
What people say, I know why people quit after 3 podcasts.
Oh, yeah.
90% of podcasts don't make it past 3 episodes. I know why.
Learning.
Guys, it's not for the faint of heart, okay?
It's not easy, especially if you have a lot going on in life in general, and it's hard. This month in general has been rough, and we say all that to say that we are getting back on everything. We're getting back on schedule.
Give us like 6 months, and I'm sure we'll be like, holy yeah, like we're doing great, you know? But like, it's a lot of work.
We're getting it together. It's just a process, but I feel like we're doing good.
We are.
With all things considered.
We're not giving up.
Yeah, that's the point we want to make for people that are listening. We're not giving up.
We're gonna be around for the next, 800 songs that Brittany has picked out. It's just us. A real podcast. This is real life. We're gonna look back on this episode a year from now and be like, wow, how far we came. You know, we'll have business deals, we'll have brand deals. We'll be promoting The Ring. Just wait
and stay tuned for the Purge 5.
See, I knew it was put on this earth for something.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Shawtys.
And we hope you enjoyed the episode.
Tune in next week. Peace. Mwah. I think I'm forever stuck to this floor.
I know. Like, my knees can't take it. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, shit. Look. It's like a scary, like... Ooh.
If you guys want to know what we do behind the scenes... Welcome to Brittany's Scare House.
Thank you for listening to the Whatever You Like podcast, available on Spotify and Apple platforms.
Please follow our socials on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube for additional content. Your support means the world to us, and it'll also keep us from creating an OnlyFans page.
We also would love to talk about whatever you like, so please visit our website to submit topic ideas, suggestions, or stories you want us to discuss.
Thanks, Shawtys. You the hottest. Peace!